Mic check. All right, good. So, all right, excellent. Let me get today's notes ready. Where's today's notes? Is there today's notes? Link. Actually, is. Excellent. Oh, where's your link? All right, cool. Let me put that in there. Voila. Please follow this. All right. Press share. If anyone who cares out there in the interweb. Anyway, all right, let me quickly switch between this and today's PDF. All right, excellent. Let me put it on PC view mode, read mode, sorry. Voila, look at that. Space is ace. We're in a good place. All right. Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Black Betterment Broadcast show. This is the 48th show today. Yes, that's right, the 48th show. And this is hopefully anyone who is live, they can jump in later on, or if not, you can hear it as it's recorded on the streams. Eventually, this is actually run on Rap Raven, my personal page, but we will be exodus into a dedicated Black Betterment page, to which I have placed the link currently in the forum as well as the info section. So please subscribe there. Hopefully by next week we'll be going there. We'll see what happens. See if it goes fantastically good. But yeah, we're gonna go through today's actual thing. So let's start as we've always started, and that is, after much research, I've unfortunately concluded that currently Black people are collectively inadequate. It's a very shocking truth there. Very shocking. Some people are aware, some people are not aware, and yeah, this is what we're dealing with. So yeah, let me. So what's going on? So what is to be done is usually the question. That's what we're going to see if we can find out throughout these back-to-back collective weeks of Black Betterment. Let me just make sure I send the link out. Sometimes I don't, and people get the link has been sent, so everyone's fantastically good. All right, so now let's start recording. Where are we? So at the end of this show, towards after I do my my ramblings, I usually give out a link for people to jump in and participate within the topic of the show. And just to make sure it runs smoothly, we want to follow the 4D values. And what are the 4D values? Discipline, dedication, discernment, and dignity. That's what they are. So if you can try to uphold these 4 pillars of the 4D values, whenever you're practicing Black Betterment, but for today's particular need is when we communicate with each other. If we could do that, that would be extra super megally good, fantastic. It just helps, and obviously, because of some of the topics, people get very high anxiety prone. So we want to minimize that. So using discipline, dedication, dignity, and discernment, hopefully we can minimize that. And and I always try to talk within the best interest of Black people. That's always helpful as well. Now, also, if we can maybe not use the derogatory language, maybe descriptive language usually help. Now on the screen currently, towards your right is words that might be able to replace words on your left. Not that there's necessarily need to use any of the words on the left at all. Depends on the nature of the topic. But if you feel like they're these kind of words you feel like you want to be saying, perhaps I can offer you a solution to the right, where these words might be much more appropriate for trying to find solutions for Black people. Because we always want to minimize anxiety, because unfortunately, because of the history of trauma that many Black people go through, sometimes when we try to find solutions, we're easily triggered, and you will notice that on the weeks you can actually notice sometimes when someone becomes triggered. So let's have a way of working. Now, how the code actually works is whenever one person becomes very anxiety prone, the idea is everyone else who is aware of that tries to work in a way to minimize that, to assure them that it isn't necessary for them to be that way, and offer them solutions to their mindset, if possible. Oh yeah. Now, for those who don't know, what is Black Betterment? I hear people say sometimes, and that is Black people helping Black people on Black issues for betterment. That's right. This is a lifestyle that we promote. So this entire stream is promoting the lifestyle of Black betterment. From much research I've done, I conclude that if we can get, maybe 30% or as many people as possible to practice Black betterment, the lifestyle, then we start seeing a change amongst the collective attitudes, the betterment of Black people, the economic structure, the love structure, and all the other kind of holistic kind of progression of goodness that you hope to see in the people group who unfortunately seem to be going through back-to-back levels of challenges. And this is what we're going to try to have solutions for. That's right. All right. So what is Black Betterment? Well, Black Betterment is a lifestyle. Lord of mercy. All right, let's move on. So that's something you have to do because obviously we play videos sometimes just to get our point across. And we're not trying to take people's work or try to profit off anything that's done. So we read this, and that is copyright disclaimer under Section 107 of Copyright Act 1976. Allowance is made for fair use of purposes such criticism, comment, news reporting, scholarship, and research. Fair use is a use permitted by copyright statute that might otherwise be infringing. Non-profit, educational, or purpose use tips the balance in favor of fair use. So this basically means we might be playing some stuff and say certain things that might be copyrighted, and we're not doing it to claim for ourselves. We're using it, just for scholarship, reporting, and news and all that good stuff that is necessary to try to find solutions. That's right. So move on. Now, what is today's fantastic topic? I hear you thinking in your head. Well, it's what campaigns can Black people create to help Black? Look at that. Look at that. Every week I do this, right? Just so you guys know, I'm using a software known as InDesign, and obviously I haven't loaded the text box. So now the last word. The irony is, it's always that last word, which is people, which is very important. So betterment. Sorry, I'm actually waffling. So it's betterment. So let me actually extend that. So I want everyone to give me 17 seconds while I update this. This is all live, by the way. And I hope you guys are glad to be in on the act when we actually update certain things. Usually people come and they give their solutions, and we try to include it within the show if we can. Obviously it'd be good if we can invent certain kind of devices that make this stuff post haste. So we're going to move with the killer speed of a millipede, and let's see if you count to 17. By the time you hit 17, I suspect we will have updated this. So let's do the for those who remember Mario, probably hardly none of you. But when you got the star things got faster, if you could hum that in your head, that will help you as well. Anyway, so let's close that one down. Yep, excellent. Now click on it again. Let's see if it opens up again. Funny enough, that should be called number 8. Let's see if it's worked. Hold on. Let's now open up the. Where is it? Where is the? Here it is. Aha! It has opened. Good. Got so many windows on here. We've got 2 screens going on. Sometimes it gets slightly confusing. Yes, update. Look at that with the killer speed of millipede. Fantastic. Anyway, so what campaigns can Black people? Now where's Do? What campaigns can Black people? So now you've done that. Do's now gone missing. Once again, guys, 1,000 forgivenesses. I like to be as proper as possible, so we have to add Do in this. So once again, if you could do the star song in your head. If you haven't played Mario, I feel sorry for you. This is what most of us played on Nintendo many years ago. And now if you can just make sure we go it right. So it should say, what campaigns can Black people do to I see the words all jumbled there. Hold on. What campaigns can Black people do to create help with this is the what campaigns can Black people do? Wait, see this now I'm going to do what campaigns can Black people where is this copy and paste from? What campaigns can Black people create to help? Yeah, that's what it is. So obviously a word's gone wrong. Hold on. This is what it should be. It should be. I found it here. I'm thinking it just sounded like some kind of alien science now. This is just weird. See, this is what happens when you work post haste. What campaigns can Black people create to help with Black Betterment? Yeah, that's right. Was it that way before? I don't even know. Let me maybe I'm working too hard, everyone. There's a case that could be happening. Doing 2 projects at the moment. All right, let me update that now, and that should now read more correctly. Close that down. It's all part of the show. Trust me. This is all for giggles and entertainment. Now let's double click on that one again. Where is it gone? I think it's that one. Let's see if it's updated. 17. What campaigns can Black people create to help with Black Betterment? There you go. I don't know what happened last time. It's weird. Absolutely weird. There should be a question mark to the right. There it is. So it's all going good. All right, this is good. Now we're back on track. 1,000 forgivenesses. Now we move on. Here we go. What campaigns? Yeah, good. Now what page are we at? This one. All right. So boom. So basically, this is more of a back and forth, guys. It's about talking to the community. Welcome all who's joined, by the way. This is about talking to the community, the local and global community, about what campaigns do we want to start doing. What areas of activity do we need to boost and promote? Black Betterment, which particular topics. I'm going to talk about the 2 topics that I'm going to be pushing for. One I started before, but unfortunately it kind of got cut shortish because of the whole pandemic and that kind of stuff, right? We couldn't execute it in its best light, and we'll go over that and what that is and if we can resurrect such an idea. That's gonna be good. And then there's another one that we talked about last week. So let's go through that. But while I'm doing that, think of your thinking caps. What do you want? What areas of activity do you want us to boost in? And we can sit down and really plot certain campaigns based around that particular strategy or that particular area. Sorry. And like I said, the good thing about what we're doing, this is a team-based project, and Black Betterment is Black people helping Black people. So everyone here is always welcome to participate. As long as you have Black people betterment at the heart of your movement or your mindset, then everything should flow fantastically. Now, what is the first thing? All right, so those who don't know, before the lockdown happened, we were actually doing a campaign known as Co-Unity Spend. And what Co-Unity Spend was basically, I think I've even, okay, what it said, I've written here, so I don't need to freestyle, actually write it down. It's good when you do the work. Hopefully there's no mistakes in there as there usually is, but let's see. So what is Co-Unity Spend, I hear you saying? Co-Unity Spend are structural, concentrated demographic trading events where a list of dedicated community businesses, in this case, Black-owned businesses, that's right, are collected and constructively shopped at by members of the same community at planned, promoted, and organized set times. Each attendee customer is strongly encouraged to buy at least one product from the establishment they are attending. So that's just me writing stuff down, but let me just say it in more human terms. Basically, what it is we get a database of Black businesses, and then when we got them, we put it in the list, and then we promote them at a certain date. We're going to say on this particular date, we're going to systematically shop, and the idea is everyone is pretty much goes down there in mass and buys products. Now we make it. We would have made it like a day. You would have had like camera crews and talking to the owners and people taking pictures and hashtagging and and the idea is to I'm going to say the idea because I think the idea is on the next page. But that's the idea. That is what it is. All right. So that is what we started before lockdown. Okay. So this is obviously a Black business campaign that we started, and something that right now we've got a Black Pound Day, which we support. Excellent idea, fantastic. Always have to support that, and there's always ideas we can do to work in tandem with such concepts, just to psychologically train Black people to actually look to patronize businesses and give put their money where it needs to be, and circle that pounds or pennies or dollars or rupees or wherever it is you're in the world. Try to find the community that you come from and really empower it. Fantastic. So what is Co-Unity Spend trying to achieve? Very good. The main purpose of Co-Unity Spend is the promotion and training of group economics, community business support, and community business awareness within a dedicated people group, in this case, the Black community, that understands the value of forming solidarity in the economic market. So like I was saying, it's like, unfortunately, if, not all, but many, they're all enough, many Black people don't seem to be economically minded or even economically supported minded. And sometimes with many things, if you don't train the people to do stuff, it probably never happen. And usually the default will work against us. So Black people will tend to support other businesses before they support Black. Not intentionally, sometimes intentionally, but sometimes just the way the system works. So we have to then educate people to actually go out and do this. And it has to become part of the culture, part of the lifestyle. So, by having a hoo-ha and a good celebration, good old chin wagging, that good stuff, when we sell stuff, is a way of doing it. Make it to an event, kind of like Christmas is, whatever, or Kwanzaa, more correctly. That kind of stuff. So we have events, we really package it up, all that good stuff. Hashtags, pictures, smiling, hey, jokes and giggles, whatever, anything to make it memorable. And that's the idea of Co-Unity Spend. It was really a physical idea, so we would physically go to a shop. Unfortunately, with the whole COVID, and my heart goes out to many businesses that had to shut down. Many people were hit economically by this pandemic, and hopefully this can be one of the solutions to maybe bring some awareness back to some of the shops and some of the institutions and the money-seeking properties out there that Black people can support in mass. Unfortunately, there might not be as many Black businesses out there as necessarily needed. So that means it probably is easier to collate a lot of the actual names and systematically shop there. And hopefully we can have big spenders really participate. Maybe celebrities who have more money than they know what to do with, and they have them come as special guest spenders and bombard and buy people's shop out of house and home. Always a good idea. Good for TV. Good for that kind of rating and stuff. Voila. So that was that. So what's the next one? What happens on the day? So I've probably said this, but I'll read it because it's here. The time is set in the shop is to reach outside or inside. the establishment. The shop owner will be interviewed about the story of their business and give advice to people who want to start their own business. Very handy. There will be a poster size of community spend that shoppers can hold and take pictures with tag. Okay, community spend, hashtag, very nice, to share their social media pages. The day will also be filmed and live streamed. After a set time, the shop owner will give a thank. And clearly, look, that's obviously been cut. Maybe a thank you, but whatever. I'm going to change that. You know what it is there. Rather mercy. Anyway, so that's good. There you go. So, boom. Let me go to the. Let me skip ahead. That is the community spend. Big up, Sister Christy, a very helpful contributor, very important. A lady who has her own business that we all should be buying from and making her exceptionally wealthy. So with community spend, that's what it was. And like I said, we have a database and we are collating information. So if you do have a business and when we do start this, please get in contact with us and we will put it on the database and hopefully we can maybe shop you out of house and home. You know, that's the idea. Just, you know, buy all the products in your shop. I mean, wouldn't that be a fantastic time where you have an auntie of some kind, you know, and they have a shop of some kind selling some kind of product and they're bombarded with beautiful, benevolent black people buying bags and bags of you know, boutique or whatever. It's amazing, you know, and then they have nothing left. And in one day they have nothing left apart from money. What a great idea. So this is what we're going to try to do. It's possible if we want to do it. And we have such a small market share that we probably can do it very well. We just have to really make it trendy and all that good stuff. You know, just like there's out there, they've made doing horrible things to black people very trendy. Then we're going to try to reverse that and do good things to black people very trendy. And that'll be the trend we try to keep going. Now, that is one of the campaigns that we tried to start last time, but obviously we couldn't. But we're going to go ahead of it. One thing I've been talking week to week now is the next campaign that we're starting, but we're going to try to refine that within this actual group because everyone's opinion matters here. And that is the Black Love campaign. Now, there's quotation marks because it won't be called that. And obviously, I've got some market research videos for us to play, for us to relook at. And, you know, we have to really refine and define and climb and all that good of time and all that good stuff, whatever. Right? So let's see what the first question is. Is it going to skip? There we go. What is the name of Black Love campaign? Was there not a list I put out here? Probably not, but I don't know where it is. All right, so the question is, the Black Love campaign is a code name because we'll have to have a particular name. And I've written down certain things like constructive, traditional, black family, fruitful, just as words, you know, just more flavor words, more refined words, because as you're going to see when I start showing some of the videos, there's other black sort of campaigns out there, and good for them, but they're a bit more broader than I guess what might be necessary for the Black Betterment concept. But we can discuss that as we always do. So just put a pin in this one, you know, of what we want to call. We'll come back to this, but right now the code name is Black Love Campaign. But you know, through marketing, we'll come up with a new name. So that's good, fantastic. All right, let's skip to the next slide. All right, what's it? What problem is Black Love Campaign? Look at what problem is the Black Love Campaign is trying to fit. I mean, look at that. What problem is the Black Love trying? See, there is no is. Once again, it's just rogue letters just appearing everywhere. It just this is what happens when you're trying to mix down albums and writing stuff. It's not good. I'm sorry, guys. I should really do one thing at a time, but what are you gonna do? Innit? What are you gonna do? Let me just change that now. Hold on, 14 seconds. What is the problem Black Love Campaign trying to fix? 14 seconds, guys. It does bug me when I do this. Sorry, you know. And also, you know, when you work for a company and you're the copywriter, you just can't make these mistakes. It's just you get fired. Anyway, where is it? Let's save that again. The killer speed of a millipede. Replace. Voila. All right. Press OK, and then we shut that down and open that up. And that's the star song. What is the problem Black Love Campaign? Why is it hasn't updated? Oh, that's because I haven't saved it. Sorry. Save, yes, please save. Okay, cool. Yep, now it's saved. One more time. Okay, yep, excellent. All right. Right, where's that? 48. Yep. I suspect there'll be many of these throughout the day. 1,000 for you in this family. It's what it is. It's when you live on the live stream, it's what happens, isn't it? Look, let's not go right to the football stuff. What is the problem that campaign trying to fix? All right, that will have to do for now. All right, so We're trying to fix self-hate within the black people disguised as universal love, lack of representation in all forms of black-facing media, community building, collective empowerment, fixing the family structure. So the Black Love campaign that hasn't been named yet is trying to fix these issues. Self-hate within the black people, black people disguised as universal love. You might come across this, you know, a lot of people that say love has no color, and I'm sure it doesn't, and this kind of stuff. But usually, from my research, this is just a kind way of putting a band-aid on a problem, actually not facing the fact that unfortunately many prominent people are actively trying to not be black people. If it was natural, that we could let that slide, but we understand through marketing and media that it's not natural, and there is through collection of anti-black racism, white supremacy, and collective inadequacies. Many black people hate the black people, whether they want to admit it or not. This is what it is. So clearly, as a people group, we're going to fix that. So the Black Love campaign is part of that. So let's move to the next slide. Let's hope there's no typos in this one. Who is the Black Love campaign target? Who is the Black Love campaign target audience? In fact, that can be very cool. Well, very, very particularly, there's two lines here, and this is the one that might be slightly controversy. We should have the capital women on that, or not even the capital men, but whatever. It's constructive black men looking for constructive black women, and constructive black women looking for constructive black men. That's pretty much it. Now let's break that down. As usual, I always debate people everywhere I go. It's not intentional. I just keep in the flow. So that's a wrap from someone. I can't remember sit there. Anyway, yeah, it's not really intentional. People will say things and I'll talk and then people will jump in. And what I tend to find is when you are talking about black love, someone will say, "Oh, but you know what? There's so many destructive black people, blah blah blah." And do you want me to die alone? No, we don't want to die alone. So the idea is for constructive black men to find constructive black women. So no one can ever push forward the quote, "Oh yes, but what if they're a bank robber?" and that kind of stuff, which will happen all the time when you try to talk about black love. People interject criminal acts for some reason. Don't know why that is. Learn behavior from somewhere. Never good. But in order to find solutions for that interesting way of speaking, we talk about constructive black men looking for constructive black women. Right, so that's that. Let's move to the next slide. What actions can be done to help the Black Love campaign? Okay. So what can we actually do? We can promote successful black couples, which is always good. Whoever they might be, find them, and as long as they're successful in the couple stage, and also maybe in their life activities, maybe or a collection of both. It's always good. Train a misogynist to not undermine black love. That's right. Unfortunately, there are people who engage in miscegenation and mixed relationships and stuff. Good on them. But what tends to happen? Define black for me, brother, and that's a very good point. What is black? So, what we've done here, when we talk with black, and I always say this, and I shall post a link. Right, we are talking about local, global lifestyle. So everywhere you find yourself in the world, there is a black definition, right? But more importantly, I'm going to type this just to help the brother out. So I'm going to currently show you the 3 places, right, where you can find the collective group known as black people, right? So the most broader one here is Wikipedia, all right? Yeah, there it is. And this one is called Black People, right? I've put in the group. The next one, yeah, is Afro Textured Hair. So this is now the people who produce this are also can be considered black, just so you know, all right? And let's find the other one. And the final one is this one, brother or sisters, Sub-Saharan African. So these 3 people groups in the Wikipedia encyclopedia, these are who we're currently doing. I myself I also have a definition which includes every single black people group there. When we talk about black people, this is what it is. Now, amongst the black collective, there's many different tribes and definitions, and I say that some people don't see some people as black and all that good stuff. I say when it comes to lifestyle Black Betterment, by all means, you can work on your particular unit. Meaning, if you're from this particular tribe or this particular people group, by all means, you can work on betterment within that group. As long as you don't mistreat other black groups, then you are still practicing Black Betterment. When you start going in these particular groups and you start mistreating like black people, you are no longer practicing Black Betterment. You are practicing anti-black racism, anti-black bigotry, and or just foolish behavior, really. So this is not, we cannot condone this. So for those who don't know who black people are, these are the 3 definitions. And the lifestyle, remember, it's a lifestyle. Yeah, the lifestyle that can be practiced is for these particular individuals. Yeah, Now, whether you synchronize with every single definition within these categories, this is up to you. But this is the textbooks I write when I talk about black people. These are the people groups, and I am based in the UK. So within the UK, we have a system known as IC3. And if IC3, maybe I should put that in there as well. I don't know if that they're the IC3. I don't know if they've actually got that definition down. Oh, maybe they do. IC3. I believe they've got a picture of a train in there. So obviously, we've got the IC codes, but I shall put this in the groups for those around the world to understand how things work in the UK. Because when we get arrested and stuff, these are the codes they use. And it's the IC3 code. So black people are known as IC3. And this is the code they use. It's a historical code. And this represents black people, which they say black Caribbeans, black Africans, and connecting people groups, black unknowns, kind of. There's a whole list. There's a brother called Brother IC3. I'm sure he has so much for us to view. I'm sure if you ask him, he'll give you so many. Anyway, so we move on. Where were we? All right. What actions can be done for the Help the Black Love campaign? Right. So so misogynist also. There's many black people who will actually take a non-black partner. And usually what this does psychologically, when a person does this, when they see black people talking about black love, they might try to interject and maybe have a stop it or say, what about universal love? So the training is for them to practice what they're practicing, but to not undermine black progress, you see? And this is the spell that many people are under once they do not take a black partner. And this is why sometimes, not all, it becomes very challenging for black people to help black people if they don't take a black partner, because there's, usually if you love someone or you think you love someone, you're constantly thinking of what's good for them. And some people can't separate their race or their people group from betterment, and they want to be inclusive. The challenge is if you're married to a people group that is actually doing much better than this people group, then this whole inclusive stuff doesn't really work, and it becomes kumbayaism. And you then become culturally compromised and you become less effective. So the idea is to train a big up Brother IC3. Big up. There you go. Yeah. So voila. So that's that with the what actions can be done to help the Black Love campaign. Correct code of conduct. Yeah, and the final thing is the correct code of conduct. So basically, people are going to be in the media, and hopefully we can train people not to say certain things. Unfortunately, because black people are collectively inadequate currently, and suffer from low self-esteem. And also within many black people, there's like a subservient chip that gets triggered whenever people talk in the public. We have to have a code of conduct to make sure that when we talk about black love, that subservient trick isn't triggered. So at no point should black people and black women be undermining black men and shouldn't be undermining black women. But we should always be looking towards the constructive people in the group to represent the needs of the group and not the most barbaric or the most, unknown and savage and all the kind of terms that people want to use to talk about lack of discipline. Right, now we shall move on to that's it. Right, so what we're going to do before I send a fantastic link for everyone to join in and have their say, and I'm sure everyone wants to have their say, let's look at a few videos. Now the reason I'm going to show these videos is because obviously I ran a search of the Black Love campaign, and I came across there's an app called Bumblebee. And this is like an app where people find love. And as you know, within many of these apps, unfortunately, black people, especially black women all over the world, tend to find the hardest to match because, as you know, most black people are hated by many people. And if black men are not actively looking for black women, because as a whole black people are hated, black women will go less without. So I think they've tried to maybe highlight some of these things, whatever it is. And by doing this, they've had a campaign. Now, within this campaign, this is a very inclusive campaign they're doing for black people. And we're going to break this down to see what we can take and learn from. But our campaign will not be as broad as this campaign. And we should go through why. But let's play the campaign as we see it. It's only been out for a year, so I didn't know about it, but I ran a search and here it is. It's got some semi-celebrities in there who people might know from social network and this kind of stuff. But and the music and all this good stuff. Anyway, so let's see what that's saying. Rewind.
How honest am I allowed to be? Really honest. I'm scared.
I think love is the foundation of what makes all positive things possible.
To me, black love is seeing like black joy, it's seeing happy black children, it's seeing happy black couples, happy, successful black people. Like it's all encompassing.
It is the positivity, it is the growth, but also it is a world where we can see ourselves being happy.
I've been in so many situations where the only person that would be able to understand me is like my boyfriend.
Black love is just shared experience, shared understanding, shared struggle that makes you just love a person even more.
Whenever we're coming from the same place, you understand me, and then when I get a bit out of pocket, you're not going to be shook. You're just going to know that's the South London in me, and that's cool, that's fine.
It's just about a community coming together and really showing up for each other and supporting each other.
It's a safe space, it's being open and just having fun and having a good time and trusting in each other.
She actually forced me into the relationship.
I did not see black love represented in media at all growing up. I never saw it.
I think it's important that when we think about black love, we think about black love in queer relationships, we think about black love in polyamory, we think about black love in like an array of contexts.
Okay, let's keep it real. Like often you're told black isn't beautiful, and then you're told to be gay is like, oof, what's that? So when you put the two together, you already have like a whole bag of hatred for yourself.
Black love, black joy, and everything along those lines is revolutionary, because I feel like they expect us to be angry, to be fighting consistently.
That's what people think that a stereotypical black woman is, a strong woman that doesn't need any help whatsoever, and that's not true.
We have a lot that we're dealing with, but we can't forget to celebrate what makes us us.
Black love feels like the best is yet to come.
It's two of you to the hand, to the very hand, you know?
My love is home.
My love is spicy.
Mad deep. Yeah, my love is mad deep.
All right, my black love. So this is obviously a campaign set up by Bumble, just to get more downloaders, but maybe to cater for more black people who might be struggling to find any kind of love at all. And as you can see, it's very broad. It being a part of the European network, it's much more broad. It's dealing with different types of love, more contemporary love, not traditional love, and all the new ages kind of love and all the terms that go with that. Our campaign will not be that broad. It'll be more templated, more traditional. It'll be constructive black man trying to find a constructive black woman and hopefully create a constructive black family. That's pretty simple, really. But that's what we were promoting. But there's one more video. This is another lady who is a dark-skinned lady talking about dark-skinned men and this kind of stuff. So let's hear it.
I'm not going to be a
Rewind.
As a darker skinned woman, we have this thing where we feel like we know when black men are not going to be attracted to us because we're dark skinned. So that's why I'm so big about there being like positive representations of black love. You don't really often see like darker skinned men with darker skinned women, and that's all a part of black love. Whenever I see it, I'm just like, yes, I love it. Black women, I think we don't really allow men to be vulnerable and loving, like, because when we're like, oh, he's soft, I don't like that. But no, like, allow them to be soft, allow them to be caring, allow them to be vulnerable. I like things that are just not complicated. I can be myself, and if I just want to wear trainers, and I can do that. I don't feel like, oh, I have to dress up and this is going to be a thing. I would say my love is intense. I like the feeling of liking someone. I like the feeling of someone liking me, and I'm a big old teddy bear, really.
All right. They're just talking about being a dark, sick lady, and I think one thing we spoke. Let me skip back to the fantastic thing. I'll post a link very soon, family, so you can jump in and have your say. Everyone can put their 5p piece in. Where is the thing we're talking about? Codes. Where's code? There we go. I think it's that one. Create codes are called for the best way to publicly talk about black love. Yeah, there it is. So basically what it is, obviously we have a dark-skinned sister there, very concerned about dark-skinned men not liking dark-skinned women. I think one of the codes we could push forward, the stigmas we could push forward, is maybe we can treat that as a psychological challenge, as in especially if black men, but especially dark-skinned black men, are openly saying they dislike black women, maybe we can push that as a code, as in that's actually a sickness. And that way we can actually just say that's something that we need to have you talk to someone about, and better not go public about that. I think that might be a great way of handling that issue. And obviously, training you have more darker black women in roles and lead roles and attractive roles and this kind of stuff, just to help psychologically train black men to love black women again, and those who have been smitten and smitten by the European branding and this kind of stuff. So this could be something that we work on to try to change that. But definitely a code of conduct where it is no longer necessary for black men or black women, but let's focus on men, to openly not like black women. And if you do, it should be viewed as a compromise. And we could maybe try to find a way to make this a reality. Because generally it is. But obviously you have to talk these things through to make them real, and you have to have a campaign, and you have to have, like I said, when you turn on cartoons and you see all this kind of stuff going on, and you turn on adverts, this kind of stuff, a very clever men and women have sat down and strategically planned this, paid for it, done the research, and then presented it. And anytime you wanted to do any kind of change, it's the same thing. Things don't just happen. If you have to wait for things to change for black people, they will always change against black people, because people are actively trying to change the nature of how black people communicate and move and progress. So you have to have defense mechanisms and cultural sustaining ideas, so you can have templates. And that's why we speak about templates. So the template we're talking about now is constructive black man for constructive black woman to make a constructive black family. That's the Black Love campaign. Now, after all that fantastic waffling for 40 minutes, many of that was me changing words that were wrong. So, fair enough. But, this show wouldn't be anywhere without the fantastic black contributors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to post the link, which I believe it's there. And let me put the name lobby so people know. So anyone who wish to jump in, just feel free to jump in. Okay. Some strong words there by IC3. I don't know if I agree with the delivery, but he has his opinion about what white supremacy might have done to some females. There we go. I shall place this up just so you can see. But white supremacy trained black females, who's mindless, whining, irresponsible. Okay, beast of burden. All right. Well, and like I say, that's an opinion, and he maybe talking about those who are directly affected. Not all, but some, I assume. Big up to brother IC3, and a big up to brother Dino Kai. Also big up to Everything's Everything. Obviously, Kushti Cosmetics, important contributor, and On Code as well. Very good. And live stream. Oh, that's just the thing. All right. Only by us acting in the institutional way within our interests, will our conditions as African Caribbean change. Very true, brother. And this is what it is. This is why we have to create our own institutions. This is the science, and this is what we shall practice, preach, and reach. Lord of mercy. So, So what I've done now, family, is I probably haven't. I posted a link. Anyone who wants to have their say, by all means, you're welcome to jump in and contribute and say. And the question is, let me just make sure people understand the question. I've shown two campaign ideas, the Black Love campaign and the co-unity spend. One is dealing with black economics. The other is dealing with black love, the more traditional sense of black love, a very template idea of black love. And the other of that is going back to basics. Unfortunately, with what, especially when you have, black people in a mixed society, where we don't necessarily control media, so we're at the kind of mercy of other people's ideas. Sometimes things change without us, and it has a legacy impact, and before you know it, things have just completely changed. Okay, when enough of us who are actively working consistently towards these ends demonstrate, the masses will adopt. Very true. This is to say, if we can get 30% of people being consistent, you will see a change. This is what happens. Just 30% going back and forth, being consistent, people will, it will just spread across the land. If you want examples of this, look at the 70s or the 60s with the Afro. Before you know it, everyone had Afro. It's just what it is. It's one of the sciences of life, So it is what it is. Yep, slow explosion to demonstrate that improves our socioeconomic mobility, encourages the masses to adopt our solutions. That's what it is. If you can show and prove, people will jump on your boat. That's what it is. So where we're dealing with, so back to the Black Love campaign, and I think, just getting back to basics now with trying to what we had before is, unfortunately, when it comes to the media, not everywhere, but many in places where you have mixtures of people, where Europeans are the dominant media society, right? You wouldn't necessarily get the best black and black family groups, right? You wouldn't necessarily get the best black family groups. And what happened is time went by, and then you would see dysfunctional black family groups. And then, new criteria came in. Well, what happened is, they say you need to have a quota now. You have to have black people, white people, disabled people, all this kind of people. And now what you're going to get is you'll get constructive black same gender loving couples. You'll get constructive black and misogynist interracial couples. But then you won't necessarily get as many constructive black traditional families. And it's, because of the quotas, you go past them. So we need to really get back to this Black Love campaign to get more of that and make that the more the tradition, more the basic. It is the minority idea. But while I'm still waffling, Brother Kel has jumped on the forum, a great contributor. Brother Kel, how is it going?
How you doing, Brother Raven?
I'm very good, thank you. While you are joining us, let me skip to the question. So right now, what we're asking the community, and I don't know if you have any ideas, is what campaigns can black people create to help with Black Betterment? I've pushed 2 campaigns, co-unity spend and the Black Love campaign, which is yet to be named. But is there any kind of areas of activity or areas that you feel we should be, and I'll make a list of this so I don't forget whatever, that you feel we should work as a community to make campaigns to address and fix certain kind of challenges that the community go through or the community need? Anything, brother?
You have to excuse me because I saw co-unity spending,
Yes.
which is very intriguing. If you could explain that to me,
Definitely. Any excuse to go over again. So basically, unfortunately, before COVID hit, I started a concept that I was talking to a lot of the brothers and sisters in the community. What we will do is we'll get a database of all the businesses, the institutions in London that are black owned and who want to actually make money, but publicly, that is. And what we'll do is we'll form a list, and either every week or annually, every 2 weeks, we have to determine this. We would systematically shop there, but we will shop there in masses. We'll make a day of it where there's cameras and people will talk. There'll be hashtags, and it'll almost look like an event. It'll be like something that black people do, and hopefully the trend will set. So this concept would go around the world. I would give the PDFs and the designs to anyone who wanted to do a similar thing for their show, and they will go around and we will just make weeks and days of just bombarding people's shops with a whole lot of money, and you just make it to a celebration. So this, and obviously then the person who owns the business will have the opportunity to explain the history, hopefully inspire those who wish to have their own business. But also we're training black people to actually shop in black establishments. And this was the idea, and we actually we almost got to execute this a year ago, but as soon as it came out, literally as soon as it came out, shutdown happened, and that was the end of that. I don't know if that was a sign, who knows, but that is what co-unity spend is, brother, if you want that.
Okay, would it be possible that if there could be teams of vans, right, that could go around the UK, and of course the community would have to fund £5 for the petrol. If they could go in teams around the UK and visit those black businesses which are prevalent in the UK, and also film them, do like a survey and report back and see what could be worked on. That would be a brilliant idea with that co-spend unity. If we used to go in teams of vans around the UK, it could be like like a podcast. I don't know if you've seen those programs where they go in teams, man, and they go around and they start interviewing people. If you use that and Pan-Africanize it, that idea too, that could be very successful.
Very, very. I mean, just to break down the expansion of the brand and the concept. So traditionally, to heighten the guarantee, what will be happening is we'll have a database, and maybe it will say like in 2 weeks' time we've got a date, the 25th of August, or whatever it might be, right? And they'll have a particular business. It might be Kel's Kel, right? And Kel sells Kel in laying stone or whatever. And what will happen is myself and some others would gather a spending crew, and the spending crew will have their own crew. So I would talk to the capos or the captains, and each captain would have 10, 5 or whatever people in their squad. And basically, this is like a guarantee that at least, at the minimum, 50 people come down there, 40 people, right? But then obviously, because we send the link out there, people could just turn up. So it could be anywhere from, who knows, right? But at least we have at least guarantee of, say, something small at 50, right? And then everyone goes there to spend at least 10, 20, whatever pounds. But the idea is, you're spending money that you're going to spend anyway in another business, so why not make a day event spend this business? That's the idea. And that's the kind of starting process we're doing. But then also we invite high spenders to come down, celebrity spenders, to come do autographs, spend, and do speeches, whatever, all that kind of stuff. So this is the continuum. It's some of that brother Dean is saying. Tangible practice and effective. That's what it's actually there. It's actually something we can see, and trendifying, making things trendy, innit? Unfortunately, in the black community, many things that isn't necessarily in the best interest of black people become trendy and becomes culturalized and a form of benchmark rebranding. The idea is to retrain something that works in our best interest, and black people actively shopping at black establishment is very beneficial. And now we can codify the behavior and pan-Africanize the behavior, and this is what it is, brother Cal.
Yeah, it's a brilliant plan, man. Definitely, that is a revolution. It's just, it's getting everyone on board. The camp. Obviously, about media and stuff, right? And that's what I was saying. If it could be like a van or a group of cars, man, visiting different places in the UK, because we know London is very, it's the capital, and we appreciate, the Honourable Marcus Garvey, and when he got deported. He spent time in London, especially in Hyde Park, so Manchester and other places. But definitely, if it could be like a campaigning where a group of Black Betterment synchronizing Africans could set the trend, it could be definitely a marketable podcast as well that could reach globally as well, and everyone can move on to it. And I know you're the man that can do the campaigning that in that idea, man.
Well, let's obviously the community is here, and everything starts with small and gets bigger. So the idea is what I would need is capos, and how I mean that is like, I'm based in London, but in order to make this thing spread, we obviously maybe you might have to start first small, but the idea might be 2 ways to expand it. We have certain capos in different cities, Birmingham, Bristol, whatever, New York, wherever, right? And basically, maybe on a certain day, we do this. So, like, it's almost like in one day, all this thing is happening, And so, obviously, the shop in Bristol, there'll be one shop or whatever. But like you're saying, the further expanded might be a simple concept where you have a van, and you're literally driving to more than one establishment in a day. You see, so it's almost like an outlay. So you're touring. It's almost like a spending tour. You see,
exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And then obviously, but this is obviously with me, I'm a tangibilist. I am a tangibilist, and I understand one of the root ways of being a tangibilist is by starting something you can deliver. So what you're saying there is the actual ultimate goal to have it at a bigger stage. But the starting thing will be small in the sense of you have a shop, you have people in a group. They communicate to go there at a certain time and to shop and to hashtag it and to take pictures. And from there, when more people with more connections get involved, like for example, there's no reason why one of the vans and stuff driving around is in the black business, right? So it's like already there's a business already that's been affected by this other business, right? And then the promotion act, so from get to A to B, all this kind of stuff, right? But it is about talking with other people who understand this concept and want to get involved. And I suspect we could. I mean, we actually literally got a database. We got it down, and then obviously COVID hit. But it doesn't matter. We can always refresh and start again. That's how it is. And obviously, when things start dying down as it is now, then we can go back to the drawing board and get that. But like I said, bro, this is it. This is where people are coming together, and you have each other out. Use National Surfboard and Black Pound Day. No need to reinvent the wheel. And there you go. And set up a retail bomb sales to hit certain businesses and grow the economic base. That's what it is. And we have to also big up Swiss and I think the sister who are pushing Black Pound Day. Very important. already Brother Swiss has become a very influential and necessary entertainer who can actually get these tangible ideas executed. So 10 points for that, brother, and the sister and the team that are executing that plan. A fantastic plan. Excellent. But Brother Kel, sorry, let me not talk over you. Anything else I'd like to add, brother?
No, it was just that, man. He's just he caught my eye when I saw that, and definitely has to be like a headquarters, and definitely it's promising, you know, because obviously, you know, I'm a Pan-Africanist, and I believe that it should reach everywhere, not just one location. But it's a brilliant idea, man. I mean, if we could just invest in the travel expenses, you know what I mean, where we can definitely, when you progress, go around. Know that people in America, they'll jump on board with it, you know, got connections, so far. So definitely it's a brilliant idea, man. Hopefully, I'm definitely on board with that 101. We just gotta regulate it, definitely Pan-Africanize it, you know, cannot be funded by non-African people, they cannot control it, you know what I mean, it has to be,
Let's just be very, and one thing that I, you know, when I start the show, this is the primal page, yeah? The lifestyle talks about Black people helping Black people on Black issues. Whenever a non-Black person is at the center, kind of subsidized or whatever, it is no longer the lifestyle. This then is the equivalent of a vegan coming home with a dead cow and saying tea's ready. It is no longer veganism. It might be tasty, but it's no longer veganism. And the reason why this has to be so is I suspect many Black people are aware, unfortunately, because of the history of white supremacy and anti-Black racism and collectively inadequacies, Black people are in a state of confusion and tend to have a subservientship where many will not actually actively try to do anything, unfortunately. So the solution is a lifestyle that only allows you to do things for yourself. And if you don't, it's no longer part of lifestyle. And if it ain't part of lifestyle, it isn't about this broadcast, because this broadcast is about Black people, helping Black people on Black issues. End of story. There you go. There you go. So yeah, there will be no inclusion of others. It will literally be a Black-led initiative. But once again, in order to get this executed, I'll have to get capos done, some team, put them in maybe a group, to communicate with them, and really do it systematically, and you know, make it a trend, and you know, get the whole design, marketing, and all that good stuff going. But you know, it starts here and it grows from here. And you know, when something becomes big, you remember here was where it started. A few people on the internet trying to help Black people. And this is the legacy we leave behind. That's what it is.
You know, for example, if this picks up, which I believe it definitely will, could we say that the prize of these Black businesses, because you know, we know that Black businesses globally and that is definitely a threat. Could we say that the leftovers of the funds could fund like let's say promising African descendants into a trade school that could go back to the community and build more trade school? Could we say it could go down that route? What do you think about that?
Once again, I'm a tangibilist. So every nook and cranny usually is ticked. So in order to get additional money, we have to establish where pay is coming from. So right now, in the early base concept, we have a business, we have spenders. The spenders go to the business and it's funded. Right now, all money is going to that particular business and all products is going to those spenders. If we are to do a further initiative where money that is made to fund something else, we would then have to have a donation box or some kind of funding thing where money can be pushed forward there. I haven't foreseen that, but once again, the bigger a team gets, we can have departments that specialize in these kinds of things. But like I said, I very rarely get involved in things that don't get executed. So, and the only thing I know is how to be a tangibilist, meaning there has to be A, B, C in everything I do. And right now, if you say something, I have to think, where would that resource come from? And it will have to come from people donating. And even that itself could become tricky. But once again, like usual, most ideas are fantastic ideas. So it has been noted. And that ultimately will be where we want to go, where you have a certain X amount of money that you can push into building of a new kind of institution or train of a youth and that kind of stuff. So yes, fantastic idea. Let me just read for them.
The reason I said that, Brother Ray, are you reading the comments? Okay.
No, go ahead. Say what you're saying while I find them. Go ahead.
reason why I said that for, Brother Raven, because and I'm only going back in historical, that we have a tendency, right, that when we fund each other,
yes,
we'll build the businesses, right, and for some reason it doesn't expand on the rest of the community. Now, when you look at the Europeans, the Asians, and Middle Easterns, right, is that they will fund their communities, right, and then a portion of that wealth is going to expand in more businesses and more help for the up and coming younglings of that community to carry out the agenda of the next generation. Now, of course, in Africa, in ancient African times, we did used to do that, and we've always done that. However, why I'm cautious is because when we do fund these black businesses, right, it's for the community or the owner of that business to take the initiative to say, okay, I've made this. The leftovers has to go onto other businesses. That's why I was wondering, what would be the code of conduct and the solution to tackle that?
Once again, Brother Kel is a very important contributor who talks about these things. We did bring this up last. Was this a private meeting? Was this on? I'm trying to think of, because it's so long as passed. One of the challenges we were talking about was, and someone else brought up, was this concept that, okay, what synchronizes the list of people you pick with black people? Like, you're making them richer, hopefully, but is there like a give back pot or anything like this? Because naturally, you know, a person whose shop you sponsor, you help out, they might not be actually synchronized with any kind of Black Betterment initiative. They're more than just black people who've got business, right? Which is important, and that's a good point. My answer to that is, you know, there is a picking process, and with the picking, let's say pretend we have 100 black businesses. The question is, how do we pick? So with me, there will be no favoritism. Not that I have any favoritism to have. It'll be something. The assumption is, you know, I guess what is more beneficial. What you could bring back. Well, these are things for the committee to discuss. So these are the things where now that we put it out there in the universe, the next step would be to form a online community. But before I say that, Sister Cushy was been dropping some jewels. Absolutely, Sir Dino Carr, we was thinking of taking advantage of the internet online business also. Yes, so Sister Cushy was actually part of the original source team there, who actually was the first, if my memory serves me correctly, and she said she was talking about to bring up, because what about the concept of a digital one? Now the digital one was a different thing altogether because we were concerned about how to market that. But here is Sister Empress Kushti Cosmetics, a great business, and welcome, sister. How's it going?
Bless up, family. I'm doing well. Yourselves?
Not too bad at all. So we were talking about you as you were jumping in, and I think because I remember you originally, my memory is not as good as it once was, but I remember you were saying, you know, what about actually trying to incorporate online business, as many black people have online businesses? Do you remember this conversation?
Yeah, I do remember that. Yeah, we were talking about that also because we didn't want to just keep it to bricks and mortar because we were mindful that a lot of the start-up business don't really have the capital initially to get the overheads for having such a property to start up their business. So those were all in the run-ins as well. We were thinking around a broad range of things, just making sure that we can incorporate a lot of the black businesses that we could. And I remember, you know, we did a live as well on Brother COE's channel, and we really did. You know, the momentum was there, and then I think we even had we even had a business, a couple of businesses that we were ready to go to, and as you mentioned, COVID just literally came, so it kind of put a halt to it, not just a pause, not a stop, but a pause to it. But I think no better time than now is to restart that up. I think a lot of businesses would welcome it and need it. So
yeah. Well, the idea is to remake that database, get a list of, I guess the two things, maybe I remember write this down now so I don't forget, but the two things I'm thinking we might need to have is, one, a committee, so a co-unity committee, right? And also, obviously, a database, right? A database of businesses But I'm writing down these ideas about digital and physical, digital, because that's the thing. And obviously, Brother Kel is obviously also wants to wonder if money's being generated at all, how could it be filled into other things, or what is the patronized business doing to give back? And these are questions I've heard before, very good questions. But these are the things that the committee will have to sit down and really go for. Because originally, when I came up with the concept, it was a slapdash, easy solution based thing, like Auntie May has a bakery or whatever it might be, and we just bombard it really, and we do all the fun and game stuff we normally do, hashtag stuff, people smiling, fireworks, whatever, and it becomes trendy, but like I said, when you do things very well consistently, it becomes institutionalized, it becomes culturalized. So we want to definitely make sure we have like a growth plan and a control plan, and also a fair plan to make sure as many different people get it. And also, I might be based in London, but the idea is to, and like, just to be clear, any kind of cultural concept I push forward, all resources are free to the community, and they can take it. As we might have to obviously monitor that just in case, because normally you have good intentions and maybe some might not. That's the thing when the money's involved and this kind of stuff. So right now, one of the biggest challenges of the Black community, unfortunately, in some cases, is when money's involved, certain things get tricky. So this way of operating was easy because essentially you have a business and shoppers, right? And hopefully the confusion isn't that hard. Like the shoppers get what they want, coconuts, plantain, and this kind of stuff, right? And the shop gets what they want, customers and all that good stuff, and promotion. And then hopefully as a cultural norm, people learn how to spend, which is something that is very necessary. But let me not talk because I do that a lot. Carry on, Empress Christy.
I think it wasn't. We was, as I said, it was like just about to get started. But I do know that Brother Raven was very wary of just taking on extra funding to do it, or taking on any money, just because of the we know within our community that people tend to worry about that, or there seems to be bad stigma on that. So he was very clear that it was literally about promoting a business, and all funding goes straight to that business. So if you're going to spend at that business, you show up and you give them the money, or you purchase the goods, or you go online and you do the goods. There's no in between or middleman involved. It was just literally solely about promoting the business. I think also we were prioritizing the businesses that we felt were giving back. So the businesses that we were going to were businesses that had done stuff within the community, and have had a track history of supporting people within the community. So those were going to get our priority. So those were the businesses that we would have gone to first initially to have supported.
You remember, like a start. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we would have probably broke it down and took it from there in regards to selecting other businesses. And with the online, we did really want to go into the online businesses. The thing is that when you do social media and things like that, as Raven said, it's not just about going and support the business. We were trying to have a holistic view of this and realize that things like buzzwords, trending, hashtags and things like that are necessary. So like what Brother Raven said, having a board next to you, or photos, or literature and things like that, posters, just to show that you supported. That generates more buzz, right? So not only did you go to this business, but you've got a card, or you've taken a picture, or you put a hashtag, and it's something to show that, look, I was a part of this movement, I went. And it was very hard for us to identify how to do that if you went online. So how would we make a buzz and create a buzz? Whereas if you went to the shop, you could have took a picture of the shop, you could have been next to the billboard or something like that. You could have rehashed it and things like that. So I think that's what we were kind of stuck in regards to online. But we were definitely, racking our brains together to see how we could do that. And we definitely wasn't trying to not do that. That is definitely still a thing to do. It makes sense to do it now, because it makes sense now, especially after what has happened with COVID, that businesses are online anyway. So it's just the future to go that way. So we have to incorporate that. We was just trying to find the best way to do it, so it was marketably done well, if that makes sense.
Here's the thing, Sister. Here's the thing, Sister Kushti, right?
Yeah.
And I'm going to use the example of the president, late President Idi Amin. What made him very successful in his time, right, is that he kept his men loyal. They will be fed before him. They were looked after before him. Their houses were better than his, right? Just like in Black Wall Street, is that the owners, what made Black Wall Street very powerful is that the funds on one business would duplicate another. It bred hospitals, supermarkets, banks, etc. Right? Now, the issue in those two eras, although they're completely different, is that the Wall Street issue is that Black people had to live in the same place and they're going through the same thing, whether you were rich, poor, celebrity, whatnot. The era that we're living in now, right, is that you got two different types of Africans, right? You've got the synchronized one, as you know, and you got the unsynchronized one, right? If we're funding, right, the African community, right, and globally, right, and that money is not going to birth other businesses, right? We're going to be going backwards and it's going to lead to conflict. Why? Because whenever you are filling something in, right, it has to overflow into something else. Do you understand? And that's why I was saying with this idea, it's brilliant. But how do we tackle the unsynchronized Africans who are very selfish and do not want to birth the money into other businesses that will get us out of this situation? See, this is going to be a problem. That's why I'm wondering, what is the solution towards that?
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah. Sorry, go
good point.
ahead, bro. Go away.
Okay. Yeah, so I would say that at a certain point, dependent. So I think you can run a trial where it's like you see for the first one or two how this thing pans out, right? If this really is like a big high spending concept where shops are shut down and people are buying everything, then then after the build of it, it's kind of like, you know, like when you give out free samples first, then you start selling stuff. Then after that, we might have to have the system be more in place where if if a certain amount of money is spent, the expectation on the shop is to give a contribution of some kind. Maybe it's just, I'm not saying yes or no. This is just me putting it out there because obviously the committee has to come up with these ideas and really streamline it and make sure it's decent. And maybe they have to then dedicate, or maybe everyone who comes dedicates £1, or we have a dedication pot where people put in a certain amount that is then to go towards some kind of institution. I don't know. You know, the more you have to save money, put money here and put there, the more tricky, more complex it gets. And that's where I would like, you know, I do a lot of things personally alone. I've trained myself to handle many kind of, you know, hats and stuff. And the way I operate is easy. But I think the more you deal with finance and stuff, the more I would have to have a dedicated team who specialize in that kind of stuff, because I wouldn't be best prepared for that. And also, unfortunately, like I said, even though I do promote like black businesses and black people selling trade and black people being paid for their time and actions, which is definitely important, because of how I place myself in the community, I have to go through certain stages, and one of the stages I have to go through is going through many days and months and years not making any money off the black community. And that sounds very counterproductive when I say it that way, but this is the baptizement in fire that I believe many black people have to do in order to be consistent, to demonstrate the consistency of your intentions for the black community overall. So this is how I've operated thus far, why I've made absolutely no money from the black community.
Because what the idea, brother, is a brilliant idea, right? But I believe because we have to sell back to black people, as what the Honourable Marcus Garvey said,
yes,
if we were to promise them that if you fund black businesses in the UK, right, the reward is going to be a fundraising of, let's say, social community where the African younglings can go there and, you know, be looked after psychologically by Pan-Africanist counselors and to work on their issues. If there's a reward in it, brother, like in anything in life, you're more likely to get everyone on board. For example, the Europeans, right, what they do is, and you know this very well, everyone does, is that they reward black people to go against the best interests of themselves. You see, they understand the African people, that my community doesn't really care about me. But these non-African people are the reason why. But at the same time, they're promising a reward. We have to campaign a reward that if we do spend on black businesses, right, that the reward will be that there's going to be a social community for the youth so they can play pool, and it has to be black owned. They can, you know, whatever they're going through at home with their parents, we will be able to supervise that and enhance it, help them with education, whatever it may be. That will be the reward. That will get a lot of black people on board to fund more, because they know that the reward of it is going to be on them. If that makes any sense.
No, I hear that. I hear that. I hear that. And I'm never going to decline that. And like I said, that could be in the early pipeline. But once again, this is an open talk now. But Parter's point is forming the committee. And that would be of writing stuff down to actually push with the committee of how to best manage that. Sis Cushy, anything like that?
Yeah, just to touch on what Brother Cal was saying, we definitely are. I definitely was thinking along the lines of that. So, for example, with my business, one of the main things that I was proud of and that I pushed is that the brands that I are majority are black-owned businesses. So, for example, once you purchase through me, not only are you purchasing through, you know, when they say about the black pound doesn't bounce more than once. So you not only are you purchasing through me as a black business, you're also supporting another black business. And a lot of the black businesses that I have on there are also supporting black businesses through the diaspora. So, for example, the shea butter that I had on my business, she was getting her shea butter directly from a village in Ghana, which were women in Ghana who were naturally cultivating their own shea butter. So at that stage, if you did go through me to go through Christian Cosmetics to purchase that particular shea butter, not only if you purchase through me, that's once, then the shea butter company, that's twice, then the money is going through to the village in Ghana. So that's 3 times the business has gone through back through 3 different black businesses and throughout the diaspora. So when I say that we were prioritizing black businesses that gives back, those are the kind of businesses that we were prioritizing. Businesses that not only are they black-owned businesses, but within their black businesses, they're equally helping out other black businesses or coercively working together and using that pound to circulate throughout our businesses. So those were the kind of businesses that we wanted to prioritize. To really emphasize that as well is something that I hoped and I think we would have really pushed through our message. In saying that as well, I think while Brother Cal was talking, there's loads of ways that we could do that and give them back. So giving it's very difficult if you want to promote a business. Yeah. So if you're promoting a business to go to, the whole objective is to go to that business and purchase. But what the question was is how do we know that in that movement, in doing that, how do we know that not only are we just helping that business, are we helping the community? So instead of expecting maybe a struggling business or a newly born business to put in when their profits are so low, we could do things like you could run up the what is it called when you run up the penny. So for example, if you purchase something for £7 and you give them a tenner, instead of getting the £3, you could say, don't worry, just put that £3 into the bucket, into the initiative that you're doing to support the community, right? Or we could have done something like that where we all show up and mob that particular one store. Not only do you have to purchase, for example, a potato, for example, there'd be someone with a little cup, and you could, if you've got some extra change, you can pop into that cup, and that all those proceeds from that cup then goes in the project and helping the different companies. So these are all the little ideas that I had in my head to contribute to co-unity spend, and that would not only be saying that you're not only walking out of that store that day, you'd be thinking, I supported that business. I know that I've done my bit to make sure that hopefully I see them again thriving tomorrow. But I'm happy to know that instead of getting the change of the £3, round it up, that £3 or whatever it is, went to that project that they're doing also. So when I hear about the project, I know that whatever small I could have afforded, I put towards that project. And every month we could have highlighted what that project was and highlight the people that came, because we've got a registrar of the people that came, the people that signed up to go. We could put their names down. We could make them feel good that, look, because of you, these group of people managed to get the maybe anything they needed, whether it was a day out, therapy, learning, a trade, but you helped to do that. And this is what we're going to do next month. And these are the kind of things that you need to do in business, right? You need to support the business, but you also need to have the social economic aspect to it. You also make that
Sister,
so that they support it.
can you hear me, sister? I think your microphone might be slightly underwaterish, or maybe more crackly. Hello?
Hello?
Oh, maybe. Yeah, your microphone. It might just be me, but it's your microphone seems to be well, not necessarily presenting your audio in the best light at the moment. I don't know if it's your bandwidth or anything like that. Hold on. So while Sister Kushti works on her mic, Brother Kel, did you pick any of that? Would like to add any more to what you said before?
No, all I was saying, brother, that I know you're about tangible solutions as well as Sister Kushti. It's just that we have the reward has to be very tight, promising, and also effective for the liberation, because I respect, brother, there's certain I know you like to start small, and that's the correct way, but sooner or later it's going to grow. That idea, what you said, that's revolution. But at the same time, brother, we're going to have to tackle the money situation, whether we like it or not. And a reward has to keep Black people from, keep them striving to enhance more business, because the Europeans, they reward their people, the Asians reward the Middle Eastern. We don't seem to reward our people, and we have to find tangible rewards for it to grow, because at the end of the day, brother, the youth, they're the ones that's going to carry on the Black businesses. And the way they are today, they've got no hope in those. I mean, I'm early 80s. I mean, I'm in my 40s now, early 40s, right? So when I see the youth, etc., I know that there's nothing there for them. But they see all these Black businesses now. They're in the era of internet, but at the same time, it's not spent on them. But they're going to be loyal to non-African people, because they know that non-African people, may not like them, but they're going to reward them for going against the best interests of the race. So that's what I'm saying. A reward, brother, a tangible reward in helping the whole community. That has to be put in place, or it's just going to be a circulation of greedy, unsynchronized Africans collecting everything while we're all in the same situation.
Great wisdom there, Brother Kel, as traditional, as normal. A note has been a reward for the youth, reward for the spenders, an incentive, and it's been noted. So this will be on the agenda for the first committee. Very good, very good, and we can't disagree. As we are speaking, keyword African, nice one. So keyword, voila. Let's sit now. I think I've added sister back. Can't believe. Empress, is your microphone okay? Is it Kushti?
Yeah, any better now?
It sounds better at the moment. Well, sounds good, but I don't know if you're speaking.
Okay.
But
How much of that did you get? Did you get a lot of it or not really?
all I got was how much of that did you get? So if you were speaking, we never got that. But you sound clear. Normally when you speak, they sound a bit muffly and a bit low than normal, which we can turn up and turn down. You now sound clearer, but I don't know if when you were speaking it was cut. I'm not too sure.
No, I was saying before I cut out, did you manage to get everything I was saying?
Oh no! If you could start again because it was so important. So just start as much as you can remember, and because things twice is always twice as nice. So go ahead.
Okay, I was just saying, I used the example of my business where I was saying that, for example, the problem that they say about black businesses is that the money only bounces once. So, for example, within my business, majority of my business are black-owned businesses. So, once you purchase through Christian Cosmetics, for example, you're not only the pounds not only bouncing through one business, it's bouncing through another when you purchase through the business that you purchase through. I gave an example to a business that I had with who did deal with shea butter. So if you go through Christian Cosmetics and you wanted shea butter and you went to this particular brand, this brand also sources her shea butter from a village in Ghana, with a particular women's village in Ghana who cultivates the shea butter by hand, and they do it the most natural way that's been done over 300 years. So what if you purchase if you purchase shea butter through that particular business, you've not only bought through one business, which is myself, then through that brand who sells the shea butter, that's two, but your money's also gone to that village in Ghana, which is free. So that money has bounced 3 times and throughout the diaspora as well, and helped 3 separate businesses. And what I was trying to say is that was kind of our ethos in going through co-unity spend. So the black businesses that we prioritize are the black businesses that are actually either working in conjunctions with other black businesses or giving back in some way or doing something which is good for the diaspora. Those were the kind of businesses that we were going to prioritize. But I was also saying that when we went to the stores, for example, if you, for example, you bought a potato for £7 and you gave £10, instead of collecting that change, that individual could have said, you know what, just give that change into the pot for whatever you're doing to give back to the community. So that could have been a way then to not expect maybe a newly formed business whose margins are really short and they're not getting as much cash flow to actually dive in, but also contributing to helping the diaspora or the community, while also taking advantage of the benefits of us selecting that business to spend with. We could have also done something where we could have had a pot or something in a corner where you could have just put in a tenner or £5 or whatever, and you know that whatever goes into that pot goes specifically for helping with whatever we decided to do to help within the community. So whether it was us taking kids out or helping them with a trade or some form of therapy, all that money collected, you would know that if you put that tenner or that £5, like £50 in that pot, you know exactly where it's going to. And each month, what we could have done was highlighted what we were doing. So we could have highlighted that day when we took the kids out, or highlight the trade it was given to those kids. And because we would have had a list of members who were going to go, we could have somehow put their names on. That gives that person a good feeling, knowing that not only did I support that business when I went and I purchased that potato, instead I spent there once. Instead of taking the change, the £3 change, I told them to put it towards the pot to help with whatever they're doing within that community. Or I decided to just put the £10 into the pot that I saw there, that I knew that was happening in that community. And that gives you that good feeling to know that you supported that business to make sure that they're alive and trading the next day. And also that whatever project that they're doing within the community, you also support it as well. And that gives you that momentum to keep doing it, to keep an eye on, to keep a track on community spend, to see what they're doing, to see where they're going next, to see how I can support it. And it gives you that good feeling when you see whatever project that was going on, that your name is across there. There's a person that supported that and helped that also. So not only did I help business, but I helped that project that was happening within the community. So these were the kind of ideas that I was thinking of, just as when was getting started, and unfortunately had to pause because of COVID. But I definitely do believe that we need to be supporting businesses that give back to the community as well, because that's the only way we're going to work as a unit, as an ecosystem, to make sure that the businesses that we support have that ethos to give back. because that's the whole point of Black Betterment, right? So we need to make sure that we show that in business. And things like loyalty card, loyalty points, because Brother Cal mentioned that when you support Western, when you support outside the community businesses, although they don't give a damn about you, they understand that that feel-good factor, or that factor where you feel like you're getting something, so 2-for-1s or loyalty points, that keeps you going, that keeps you loyal. So there's nothing stopping us from doing community loyalty point cards and things like that. So these are all things that get me excited, clearly, because I'm into business, and I would have contributed, and we was aiming to do things like that. As I said, we was on a pause. But yeah, that's my little 2 cents for now.
Very good 2 cents. Very good 2 cents. Brother Kel, does that?
Yeah, Ashay. You know, as I said, it has the reward has to, you know, it has to give back to the youth, man. You know what I mean? That's what I'm saying. You know, if we're gonna build up these businesses, it definitely has to go back. We need, you know, black-owned community centers for refuge for the youth. You know, we need to get back to the herbalistic own buildings so we can heal our people. You know, these things, as I was saying, like we need to fund these types of stuff. You know what I mean? We need to get back to that. But the Sister Kushji, you know, is a brilliant idea. And that is what I was referring to with the rewards. But another thing as well, Brother Raven, you know, which is very alarming as well. Like how the African mind is very rich as well as the continent, right? When we're building up these businesses and African people are flourishing, how do we tackle the opportunities non-Africans who will use the strategy of marrying into the African family to reap the co-unity spending back into their community? We need to talk about that, my brother.
Right. So I think we might have even covered slightly this. I don't know if it was live, but I think I had a diagram which isn't on this diagram. And I think it was I wonder if I can find it. What it was is it was talking about the hierarchy of picking, but this, it wasn't necessarily in co-unity spend, but we could use the same kind of concept where when it comes to supporting black businesses, you have two black businesses. You have one black business where you have a black husband and wife and happily married, and you have one where the other one isn't married, whatever. So when you pick between the two, the one with the family structure business gets more points than the one that doesn't have it. You see? So that one in the list that gets pushed forward because of that, right? So all these aspects are points that can add towards their overall mark system that pushes them forward. So you know, contributing to the community, having a black family structure, having a resource, having source stockists and suppliers of African background or descent or Caribbean or whatever it might be. You know, the whole holistic networking thing going on. All these add to your point system. So yes, the more Black Betterment connected your business and your lifestyle, the more you get pushed up the ladder to that primal spot of actually being shopped in a particular primal date, time, space, and so forth. Let's see. We need scientific literature on everything where we fail. Okay, there you go. And we need, what's this one? We need to be politically savvy or we are powerless. Thank you. Everything's everything. Very true. Very true there. But once again, we are talking about. I brought for two campaigns today. One is the Black Unity campaign, and the other is the Black Love campaign, which hasn't been named yet. It's just a working title. But hopefully, this is going to be a holistic change in the sense of we are trying to spread the Black love concept, the traditional love concept. So hopefully, that working in tandem with the business, the Black business tandem, we are going to get more people who, in future times, who are actually, family business orientated. But before I forget, we do have Brother Cal and Empress Christy. So by all means, brother and sister, you're welcome to speak on the Black Love campaign, or because you are guests, you might want to talk about another campaign that might be more beneficial to black people. Is there any other kind of campaigns you reckon might be beneficial for me to make a note of, or would you like to carry on talking about community spend, or maybe the black love concept, and really trying to filter that out to actual tangible steps of how to improve awareness of black love and this kind of stuff?
I think we need to talk about the if, all due respect to Sister Kush, if she agrees, is that the Black Love campaign coheres with the co-unity, because when you study ancient Africa, brother, right, is that Africa is a very rich land, as we know, and every time the Africans would defeat the invaders, right, the kindness of the African would keep a truce and a treaty of, well, you can marry into, you know, the tribe, you can have this quarter of the land. And for some reason, the non-African would abuse that, accumulate and brainwash the African child, which he's had with the African woman, and then invade Africa. Because the more money we make, brother, unfortunately, the more opportunities non-Africans are going to try to assimilate into the African family tree. So would you say, brother, this campaigning, that the top of the list should be I think you did it before in regards to the whitening. Would you say we have to be very direct with that?
So what you're saying is, because right now what we've spoken about is a point system, right? And the point system is definitely placing more points on constructive black male, constructive black female, black business, black family, supporting black unity, supporting black communities. You know, maybe having separate retailers that are black as well. So, you know, this is going to get you more points, because we know that by putting money into you're well connected, invested in Black Betterment in this context. While you might have a person who wasn't necessarily raised in the black, the B1 Black Unity African Pan-African way, and they've been socialized and trained by non-black people, so they might find themselves not married to a black person, not necessarily network of black people, not really in the black community at all, to be honest, and come across advert and they go, I want my business to be on the list. And, you know, I guess we have to say that, you know, we do have a point system, and these are the point systems of what actually gets your thing pushed to the front. You see, that is what one thing that me and Sister Kushti has been talking about. I think she's just lost the connection at the moment, but that's one thing that we spoke about, Brother Kel. A point system, and all these things you mentioned of the synchronized African is definitely a high scoring point system. Kind of like in London, certain people try to get free housing, and there's a certain criteria that they have to have, where, you know, where it might be whether they're homeless, whether they have children, whether they have faced abuse, whether their age group, their sexual agenda, this kind of thing. These things actually put higher points on the individual to who's more likely to get an actual place. Some people, because they don't have all those points, the chance of them getting a place might take them 40 years, while others it's 40 days. If that makes sense, brother.
Brother, it makes a lot of sense, right? The only thing is, I'm looking at it from a political science aspect, right? Is that the non-Africans, bro, you got the Prince's Trust, right?
Yes.
Where you go there and you can get funded by them. If, as we know, brother, there's more unsynchronized Africans than Pan-African synchronized, let's be realistically, right?
Yes.
Well, if we look at it from a political side aspect, all they really have to do is, okay, well, we don't want to integrate with you, we're just going to get help from the non-Africans, right? They'll get rewarded for that, to help to destroy our agenda. That's what I was saying, brother, is that would you say we need to be very direct, right, with wisdom, of course, in regards to campaigning, with the difference between if you are marrying a non-African woman, right, and the wealth, you did it before in one of your shows, that black child will marry a non-African, and then the wealth goes back in. We need to have a very direct approach to that. That will bang into the head of the unsynchronized Africans to stop doing that, so the race can prevail. We need something direct, brother, because as I said, you got the Prince's Trust, and they're doing very well, of course, but it's very competitive in regards to our agenda. So what will be the solution to rival that?
Well, if you're saying, we can always give initiatives for, because obviously with the Black Love campaign, we're promoting black families because we understand the black family is the solution to many constructive black families. It's the solution to many black challenges. And I think within the co-unity spend, we can definitely put forward that black family-based businesses, owners, are always going to get priority. This is like a picking incentive that we can easily demonstrate and say. And this, coupled with other things going on, is the training psychologically that when it comes to Black Betterment, we understand that if you say you love black people and you want black people to progress, the best way to do that is to have a constructive black family. Hands down. It's just the science is out. If you have a constructive black family, you will contribute to Black Betterment at a higher speedful rate. And I think that's just something that we will push forward. And like I said, because we haven't got a committee, we can't push forward. But what I can say is, if that is the case, then the more unsynchronized you are with Black Betterment, the least likely you're going to be put on a certain kind of list. If that makes sense.
Okay, and you're talking about a committee, right?
Yes.
So, and that's a brilliant idea because we do need like a union, right?
Yes.
What are the guidelines towards this union for it to prevail in regards to, because as I said, already, brother, on your podcast and stuff, man, and the Black Betterment movement, there's a lot of unsynchronized Africans, which very detrimental to the race, So what are the guidelines in regards to that? Because a committee is a big thing. The Honourable Marcus Garvey, man, and many others, they formulated a government. But what would this committee, what are the guidelines to deal with unsynchronized Africans, and what is the main goal to help us to tackle these issues?
So I guess in order to join the committee, there has to be certain qualifications that person has to tick. Within the week-to-week explanation of Black Betterment, we break two kinds of Black Betterers. There's the Black Betterer and the Black Betterment Builder. The Black Betterer is the person who agrees on helping Black people in all areas of people activity, and is dedicated to that reality. So that person is understands the value of marrying a Black woman, Black man. They understand the value of circulating Black pounds, of controlling the media, controlling the narrative. It's pretty much B1 Pan-African Black Betterment led. And then you have the Black Betterment Builder, who's a person who has lived their life and they can't necessarily commit to such commitments, but they might want to make a one particular institution, one particular idea where it is just for Black people. And in that area of activity, they become a Black Betterment Builder in making potatoes for Black people, or making shoes for Black people, or training Black children how to make cauliflower, or something like this. Yeah? So the committee might be made up of Black Betterers. I don't know. This is for us to really discuss. Meaning that in order for you to be part of the committee, you have to be of the more concentrated Black Betterment movement, the lifestyle. You have to actually be much more integrated collectively with helping Black people, more than just having one dedication. It has to be a lifestyle that is through. This might be a commitment, and it's like with many things, you have a commitment. If they tick these boxes and they have a certain character, once they pass these kind of questions and these kind of trials, whatever, then they are welcome to be part of the committee.
Right. And another thing, bro, I'm just curious about as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
When all this develops, and I believe it will, is it a thing where we can take this formula onto the African continent? Because, brother, we got to be very realistically, right? You know, you got a brilliant mind, man, and these solutions can definitely work. But we do have to understand as well, brother, politically, is that there's a historical criteria that African power and European power
Mm.
can never, ever coexist with one another. Do you
Mhm.
understand? So that's why I always say, brother, is it a thing where we're training so we can go back to the continent, or is it that we're just going to be here and coexistent with the businesses and just kind of, just linger around,
No, good. Very good, very good, very good question. And here's the answer. What I preach and practice and demonstrate on this show is a lifestyle that is a part of a synchronization concept, right? So the idea is with the lifestyle, no matter where you find yourself, you're building with Black people for betterment. Now, naturally, that's going to find you going to Black lands, because even with myself, every business I start or every product I make, I always look first in the Caribbean, Africa, for the workers. You know, whether it's artists, painters, coders, you name it, yeah, whatever, right? If I'm not doing it myself, that is, right? I'm hiring, and then I go through the networks I've formed in England with the people in the diaspora, the Americas, the England, these countries, right? So that's just the natural thing. The idea, hopefully, I mean, this is future tense, but the idea is, well, no matter where you are, you work towards betterment. So I myself might find myself living in Liberia or Jamaica or Dominica, I don't know, right? But the concept is there might still be a need for people to be in England because there's a factory that we need to send things in England. There might be a situation where in future times there is a certain place set up in the West Indies or the Africa where Black people go to live in a new kind of business district. I don't know. But to answer your question, yes, one of the goals is to form better networks with so-called Black-owned lands and have places where people can migrate if necessary, if people feel so. This is definitely, if you want to ask me personally, I know people haven't used it, but this concept of a Negro's right to return to Liberia, I know some people are trying to get rid of it. This is very, very intriguing to me, And if you ask me, like, if I had to build up an African nation, being from the diaspora, but if you have in your constitution the right to return for Negroes, people of the diaspora, then that country there already might be able to get most of my economic resource and building potential, because within their constitution is extended olive branch for the descendants of enslaved Africans. You see?
Because, brother, your blueprints, brother, is very deep, man, and it can definitely work, man. We have to be realistically, man. It's something where it's definitely gonna progress, and it is progressing. You know what I mean? But it's just that, brother, we have to, strategize, man. I know you're a man that strategizes, because when you look at the Berlin Conference, brother, and that's well known, right? The Europeans sat down, and it was a discussion of nationalism, not integrationism. Do you understand what I'm saying in that, right? And that nationalism led to, how are we going to build up Europe and keep Europe how it is? Do you understand? But what I've noticed with a lot of us, brother, is that we'll have these discussions, not on your podcast, I'm saying in general, and it's more to do with integrating into the oppressor's land, and not realizing that when the oppressors had a discussion, and it was 1884 to 1885, 1 year, it was a discussion nationalism, you know. So that's why I'm just wondering, with the co-spending, it's very, very economical. It's economical revolution, right? That there has to be an end towards the continent, because they're not going to allow us, brother, to prevail. Because think about, we're the most biggest spenders of all non-African communities, right? Their businesses. So that's why I was wondering that, you know, is it a thing where we're going to take it to the continent and we're going to have to build? Because look what happened in Haiti. Let's be realistically, you know, the Haitian Revolution, and then Haiti was a place where you could seek refuge there, and then nobody helped Haiti out. You understand what I'm saying, bro? So that's what I was saying. It's like, when you're talking about economics, which I know you know very well, there has to be security leading to the African continent, because we have a history, brother, where non-African people do not allow Africans to coexist with economics with them. It's never happened, and it never will.
Well, I mean, you know, when it comes to like countries and stuff, I am not like Bill Gates or oil tycoon with resources and stuff. But if you were to pick my mind of the countries of interest in the diaspora, Haiti is a country of interest because of history. Jamaica is a country of interest because of history. And then you could talk about Brazil and America for communities of black people. They're not a country, so it's a different thing. In the continent, Ethiopia, South Africa, Liberia, these are countries of interest because of the history and you know, discipline and dedication shown in certain areas, right? So yeah. One thing that's important is understanding structure, right? This show is only about Black Betterment. Black Betterment can happen in Africa, out of Africa, in England, anywhere, right? It's when black people find themselves, what are they doing to better themselves? Yeah. But it's actively training black people to look for black people to help. This is from my own experience now. Once you start understanding that concept, it isn't too long before you start looking for lands where everyone's black. You see? But the thing is, with a marketing campaign, because you're dealing with so many unsynchronized black people, you have to have the starting step. Now, the starting step through analyzing things like veganism is it really is, once you describe a lifestyle, once people get into it, it becomes a domino effect, because you start looking to do more of this kind of lifestyle, and before you know it, there's nowhere else to look but the motherland, or but, you know, the fatherland, or wherever it might be, right? Wherever people are from with it. So this is the introductory step. And obviously myself, who's coming from marketing, I'm marketing this lifestyle in a way where you have no choice at a certain point to start looking at your ancestry, your history, and finding how best can you connect with the brothers and sisters on the motherland, in the diaspora. And that's what it is. And when you start businesses, it will become much more appealing to hire people from a certain aspect from the continent, or to, if possible, if you can get passports and you network with governments, have a business in those lands. But at the same token, brother, there is still a value in having things like Wall Street, little African town, just like you have Chinatown and you have you know, in all places, there is a value in having these concepts. And one of the pushes I am trying to get there, I mean, I haven't executed it here, and it will come up in the future set, is to develop that community of economic spending where you have small pockets of roads and streets, and we have little African town, a little Wall Street, or Greenwood, or this kind of stuff, right? So, and this concept for people to try to build, like when you see it, you know, it becomes infectious. It's like, if they've got it in Bristol, we want to have it in Birmingham. If we have it in Liverpool, we want to have it. And obviously through the marketing campaign, just like you have Westfield, which is you know, it's like a media hub, right? It's like you have a Westfield in East London, you have one in Shepherd's Bush, I believe, and some maybe outside in Europe, I can't remember. But the idea is these collection of stores form an idea. Well, like I said, the Little Africa could be a franchise, or Little Greenwood could be a franchise. But once again, this is obviously me thinking ahead, as I tend to do. But I tend to start small because I like actual tangible executions, because it's something you can report and you can grow from. So I tend to not really go there. But just so you know, I'm with you on the standpoint of going back to the motherland and networking with people there, It's just, right now the lifestyle comes first, if that makes sense.
I don't want to take too much time. I know this coming on to the end of the show. Another thing that's alarming, if you could explain, is it's the online businesses, right?
Yes.
Now, we know that there's been a history, and a lot of us don't want to accept it, where the government have shut down internet, right? So if they was to do that, which they've been doing anyway, would you say that there needs to be a solution of, the strategy of what the Jehovah Witness do, where they deliver leaflets of black businesses through the letterbox? Would you say that would be a more of a solution, just in case they shut down the internet when it comes to the online businesses?
Well, I'm never going to say no. I mean, through the COVID time, I got many letters through the letterbox with Jehovah's Witness asked me to join some seminar or online thing they're doing to keep distance and kind of stuff, right? And so yes, that's a good solution. When it comes to, I mean, depends on how far stretch you want to do it. Like, when it comes to shutting down the internet, if you're talking about there's a provider and they shut down, that's quite challenging for them not to affect non-black people, if why they would do that. But I think, any way to promote, I would definitely push forward. But I mean, a further reach that I'm trying to do is get developers and PCs set up in black land, so that the networks are actually in other countries. So you're actually going on a African-based server or a Caribbean-based server, and maybe that could be a business. Also, when it comes to the development of any kind of digital tech, having digital developments in Zimbabwe, in South Africa, in Haiti, wherever, if you could build anything. I know Zimbabwe has quite a good hub at the moment, and Nigeria, funnily enough, actually is why I say it should be the leaders in digital tech. I think many Nigerians tend to come to European countries or American countries, whatever, and stay there. And so it's hard to actually pinpoint the strength in the Nigerian community when it comes to programming. But I suspect there is a very powerful force. And part of my thing is to collate all the Nigerians into one spot to think about these kinds of things. But yeah. So you're right. If there are some kind of nefarious behavioral patterns, then posting a more traditional way. But then saying that, there's always networks going on. So even now with like, for example, we can't mention certain words because of algorithm, but it rhymes with taxi station. People get a taxi station so they don't get ill, whatever, right?
Right.
Yeah. Right now, the information is still spread through direct contact, certain social, because there's certain social networks where it's actually more directly peer-to-peer rather than you're on a home server where everyone can see what you're saying. So everything you're saying is heavily monitored. There is certain people groups where it's harder for them to monitor it. But ultimately, brother, to be honest, the real solution is black-owned social media.
True.
It's no secret that my job is a UX UI designer. And, as the years go by, I'm collating a team of developers, programmers, UXers, UIers, server controllers, you name it, whatever, right? And the idea is to make a black app. I mean, it's no secret. And that if I was to get a team, that's what I'd do. And if I was to call for funding once I have a proper team and project managers in place, then we would be able to deliver a kind of price to the community. Say, here's an app that connects black people, black businesses, black people, whatever. Here's the name, here's the idea, here's the trailer, and we need 1,000, 2,000, 8,000, 100,000, whatever to get it done. And for me, that is one of my ultimate goals. But before I get there, I've had to use, WhatsApp, Facebook, Instagram, these kinds of things to form networks and go into certain European establishment, and while I'm there, have tea and breakfast with other Pan-African black people, and collect them into a network and let them know what I'm about, and if they want to be synchronized, they can. And as time goes by, the network's getting bigger, and that's what I've been doing. It's no secret that this is what I do.
Ashe, brother, Ashe, man. Are you able to another thing as well? You know the ad pack. Are you able to send that? Is the brother Dean able to send the website where you can fund, etc. and that? Is it still operating? Has he changed a different name? You know, could you clarify that?
I could talk because I've been on brother Dean has been on this show once or twice, and I've been on his show once or twice. And like I said, any new political party that is dedicated to helping Black people and is consistent will always be supported. So if there's any link that brother Dean wants to push, by all means, if he contacts me, we'll pull it in. I have limited network at the moment, and the idea is to get a bigger network. But yeah, as long as someone is dedicated to helping Black people and they're consistent, then they will always have a platform here or anything I'm doing to promote. And yeah, if I will always support. So
And
yeah,
is it possible for Sister Kushti to send her business? Because obviously I've got a lot of females in my family as well as daughters and etc. If she could post the business, so maybe I can pass it around, and because I didn't know that he did that type of field.
yeah, you'll be. So what I might do as well is with maybe what I'll do as well to help. I think I did earlier on is all contributors, all people who want a certain amount of promotion within the bio of each of these kind of videos. I can post a link to where to find their stuff. But what I would say, brother, is there is a much more close peer-to-peer network. So I run a network called Mount Melanin, and the networks on the social app known as WhatsApp. And then in this particular network, we have 13 or 14 different forums full of anywhere from 100 to 300, whatever. Remember, 200 or so, whatever people, just networking on particular themes. So one of the themes is economics. So in there, people are promoting their business, people are ringing them up and that kind of stuff. If after the show if you're on WhatsApp, I can easily add you to this stuff, and it's only Black people that's in there, and people only get there through knowing me or through knowing, not literally through knowing me, really, to be honest. So, but throughout the years of me going out to certain business ventures, certain debates, I've just personally taken people's number and add them to the network. And as time goes by, there's over 1,000 people in the network, right? So you're always welcome to join there, to which Sister Kushi is within there. So, it's up to you, brother. But we don't have to talk about it live. Whenever you want, you can email me or just talk offline, and I shall give you whatever you need.
Yeah, I appreciate that, brother, man. Actually, I know about your organization. Anyway, it's a brilliant organization. It goes round, believe it or not. So, but it's just I didn't know Sister Kushti had a business. So, because I need to, maybe she can explain it a bit more. Because the females, brother, they need to get away from certain products. Which is very damaging to them. And if it is on the lines, which I believe it is, on Pan-Africanist holistic healing for the African woman, then no doubt my family can know about that.
Definitely. I think one thing I've always pushed forward to the community, which very few have taken up yet, but time is still young, so they can. And that is, if you have a business, by all means, I said we can have like a round robin carousel promotion of each business. But ultimately, and right now we have to have a peer-to-peer talking system. So with the Mount Melanin thing, because you're in there, you can literally reach out and go, I want to buy from you. Here's my money. Here's how you do it. But ultimately, the idea is to probably set up an app where people's business within the app, and you find them, you search by area, and it comes up. And either physically, digitally, you can actually access the stuff. And I hope to, as I'm speaking here, if you're a Black person with a certain set of skills, please approach me. If you are a developer, if you're a programmer, if you're a UX or UI, contact me so we can form networks to make this stuff. It won't make itself. My skill sets, for those who don't know, for over 20 years, I'm a trained, qualified UI designer, that's a user interface designer. I'm a web designer. I'm a UX designer. I'm a motion designer, that's my animation. I'm a video editor. I'm also a professionally trained sound engineer. And through these, and also graphic design, and illustrator, this kind of stuff, right? And I've been doing this for over 20 years, and I do pro bono work when it comes to early businesses to help them get their foot up. I try to also get people who are not necessarily starting their own business into employment, preferably in black businesses, but it is very limited. And try to give people the strategy of how to find work. But that's more so on the grassroots level of people who are struggling to find ends meet and this kind of stuff, and they find it hard to actually find any kind of income. But those are my particular skills that I push out, and hopefully we can form networks where people with particular skills come together and form bonds and unions to make solutions for black people. But the main solution I'm pushing, hopefully, is a platform, an app platform, where black people can find each other to find solutions and to help out in all areas of people activity. And that is the goal. And I don't know when we're going to get there, but hopefully the more I tell that to the universe, the more people who might have the particular skills can network with me to form those solutions, if that makes sense, brother.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense, brother. I appreciate the clarification, man.
And thank you, brother. Your questions are always fantastic as usual, and that's why we appreciate you, and also Empress Kushti, and hopefully maybe next week whenever she gets time. Check out my show on Brothers. Okay, yep. So what Sister Kushti has done in the group, she's also posted her show that she did, and there. So please check that out. Now, guys, we've reached the end of the show, but before we go, hopefully next week we're going to be running this show from the Black Betterment actual page, not this page. So if you guys can, please follow. What I might do as well, because we're running tests, is while this new page is being promoted, this page will go live with a link saying click this link. So you got two things going at the same time. But the idea really is to get everyone to a branded Black Betterment page, because I'm Rap Raven. I make music, I make films and whatever, this kind of stuff. So it isn't the ideal place for a Black Betterment show. I don't do it because I've got a certain amount of following, but really, just to be more professional, I'm going to try to exodus everyone over to the Black Betterment Broadcast page, and hopefully as time goes on, give other people the opportunity to have their own shows, maybe have a different, different diverse kind of topics. Maybe there'll be things just about positive only, economics only, love only, who knows, right? And that's the thing about what we're doing here. Really, as a community, everyone's opinion matters. And hopefully, I don't know if you might get this in other platforms, but if you're a black person and you're constructive, you have a home here. And hopefully we can work together to form Betterment. And just something to think about before next week, I've pushed down 2 campaigns. The Black Love campaign, which we're forming, and I shall give you the work to day-to-day progress, and the community spend, which I'm looking for a committee to join. But if you have any ideas, by all means, as Brother Kel has done, and obviously Empress Kushti has done, please push forward and let's come together and remember, be the change you want to see. So for myself, Brother Kel, would you have any last words before you go, as tradition dictates?
Yeah, bro, it's been a great show as usual. The co-unity spending definitely it caught my eye, and the solutions what you've come up with, as well as Sister Kushti's, definitely has to be a reward at the end of it. Yeah, that's what I would like to say, man. As what the Honourable Marcus Garvey says, a race without authority and power is a race without respect for itself. So we need to get on board with that. But it's been a brilliant show as always, Brother Raven. Truly.
Thank you. All right, guys. Well, see you next week. Hopefully at the new station, the new branded page, and keep out for that, and let's see what we can do. Thank you very much. Until next week, Black Betterment. Thank you very much. And there's a quick question. Brother Kel should jump on the committee. If he has time, he's always welcome, but it's only if people have time. If only they have time. All right, guys. Next week. Thank you very much.